All right, welcome folks. Mil-Spec Ops Monkey here. It's going to be 6:30 p.m. Central Time coming to you from the great state of Texas. It is Monday, August 23rd, 2021, and man, do we have a lot going on. So without further ado, let me get over the boards. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and bell for notification because things are about to get supercharged, man. The world that we live in is rapidly changing, and so we need to pay close attention to all this, folks, because it is going to impact us here stateside big time. All right. So you guys can see I'm starting us out over Europe because this section right now has just been, I mean, it is so hot. It's not even crazy. They are flying around the clock, C-17s, you know, just about every transport you can think of, C-130s, in and out of Afghanistan. It's about 4 a.m. there right now, and you can just see this conglomerate. But I wanted to show you, I backed out a little bit so you can see all of these other aircraft that are up. These are Airbuses. That's going to be French. That's going to be German. Or sorry, that's the UK. But you can see the UKs are rolling right in. They're coming in and out of England and into this area. Most of them are rolling mainly out of UAE, but this is non-stop train all day, round the clock. Now, there's a couple I will show you that we're going to get into a little more detail, but this is live. Okay, so this is happening right now, and they are saying they've already moved out. I forget. I want to say it's in the tens of thousands that they've already pulled out of there, but I will tell you they're not focused on Americans. They're focused on Afghanis, and they're bringing them right into the good old US of A. And I will show you as we get closer through this next half an hour. Okay, so but keep in mind, this right here is the great state of Iran. And you can't fly into that zone, and there ain't nobody going left out of Afghanistan over to here. They're going to be going right into Pakistan, which is a nuclear nation, okay? And this is a soon-to-be nuclear nation, but not a good situation to put a right dead in the middle of all of this, a massive immigration crisis, okay? So, all right, let's get over here real fast. I do want to show you something now. There is one on the board right now called Black Wolf, and I want to point that out because this one has been flying back and forth pretty regularly, and it's a reconnaissance plane. It looks like a little Lear, as you guys can see the picture here. I'll get over here and just show you so you can see it. Now, over the weekend, this dude was flying over Bagram Airfield or Air Base. That's important data note because that is where we left a metric ton of equipment. We actually signed it over to the Afghan army, which then folded, and they basically left all the equipment behind. So it is now in the hands of not only the Taliban, but it's in the hands of what they are telling us now is that ISIS is now in force up here as well. So that is just north of Kabul. So if you're looking at the area, this is where they're flying in and out of, but it's up here towards the mountains. Now I'll show you that here in just a second on Google Earth as we get into it. But also just to show you what's going on, this was throughout the day, again, just like we're seeing right now, just a regular back and forth. This is, again, a reconnaissance. That's not an updated picture, by the way. The Black Wolf bird actually has a little doghouse right underneath the forward fuselage. That's a surveillance apparatus, so to speak. Now, here's the other piece, too. Now, this shared, if you guys, I'm gonna show you an article that was actually put out today by RT.com, which is Russian Times. But this is Justin Parks, and he actually sent me a little picture just to give you guys just an idea. He has contacts on ground there. They've got eyes on. He's got a team that's over there that are trying to get out. But he was just showing me this is outside of the Interior Ministry, right by the airport. You can see the barbed wire here. You can see clothing stuck in it. But there's people trying to cross this little ditch to get in there, but it is all cordoned off, and so it's still a very hot situation, and it's probably going to get hotter as we approach the end of the month. Now, let me get back over to that real fast. So this is actually going to be Flashbang Schedule. You can see he's pushing it early today. Put on his pants about 30 minutes early for his daily brief. Normally he's about a 10 a.m. start guy. So it looks like he moved his wake up time, but looks like he's now realized that he's he's definitely unfit to be sitting in that where he is right now for sure. So He's got his national security team to hear intelligence, security, and diplomatic updates of the evolving situation of Afghanistan. And then, of course, at 1:30, he's talking about the real focus, because this stuff right here is what's going to keep the Great Reset and Vision 2030 and everything on track. Okay, so just remember that. Okay. Now, you can see the important stuff happens this evening where the Seattle Storm comes to the White House, or sorry, the Senior Living Center for their WNBA championship deal. So anyway, that is going to be his schedule. Now we jump over here to let me see if I can get the latest and greatest. It doesn't want to pull up for me. Now, there aren't any active TFRs, I'll just put it that way, other than what is actually over the Senior Living Center right now. So there's nothing else. You would think there would be something over the air bases, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Let me see if I can get this to pull back up. Actually, I take that back. We did catch one. Here, let me pull this in. I was expecting to see this, and it is there. Notice right here. That's going to be over Biggs Air Force Base. Actually, that's Space Operation. Biggs is over here in the corner. So there is a Space Operations TFR in place right now over that area. That's kind of interesting. Not sure why. Okay, well, I expected that to be over here a little further in the corner. When I zoomed in, it wasn't. But not surprised to see them to put something over there because of what's going on. But this is your normal border TFR here, okay, just so you guys know. But we get up in this area, got some storms rolling through, but nothing really to speak of TFR-wise other than, let me see, this is going to be just south of the Cape. It's a Marine immediate broadcast request, special Marine warning. So I don't know what that's all about. Strong thunderstorms. Okay. All right, that's Brevard County and along the Cape. So surf must be up. So my brother's watching this. Catch a couple waves from me, my man. All right, so let's get over here to the real live flight tracker. These are actually what we're just looking at over on the main one. Again, you can see them stacked up. No call signs. A lot of activity going on. Again, 4 o'clock in the morning here, and this is actually Kabul. You can see them just rolling right in. I guess this is a good time for them to land. Probably imagine that runway. You can't really see much on it, but yeah, that's, you can see them stacked up here. But again, the airbase that is north has been compromised. Okay, so that is going to be this area here. That's Bagram Air Base. All right, that's just north of Kabul, or Kabul. Sorry, but that location is the one where July 6th we basically vacated it, turned it over to the Afghan army. They signed for it, I guess, and we gave them possession of all kinds of really nice stuff, aircraft, you name it, lots of weapons, and they basically bailed. And now this is occupied by the Taliban and ISIS. All right, so I like those guys working together. So this has now become one giant terrorist state. Now, here's what the interesting thing is. In talking with my buddy Justin this morning, now this is an interesting data point, because he's saying that our allies don't trust us, and that our enemies are emboldened. And so, if you guys remember, I actually did an interview with him not very long ago. He was actually he was working security for an independent contractor at the embassy in Kabul when it was actually bombed. But he has been kind of feeding me with a little bit of intel on what's going on. It's a pretty good write-up if you get a chance to jump over there and read it. But he's backfilling me on what's really going on, and it's not a good situation from my understanding. Now, he's got guys like that picture I just showed you. That's one of his buddies, that took a picture. But this is the important part. Data point is that he's telling me, and his guys are telling him, 90% of the people getting on those aircraft that are coming to America are male. Okay, 90%. So couple that with what we got coming through the border, which is probably about 85% of military-age males. We're being invaded, folks. We are being invaded, and this is insane. Now, if you go look at Al Jazeera, they're talking about the Taliban is actually warning of consequences if the U.S. delays withdrawal. And so that's why we're seeing, 24/7 aircraft flying in and out. The problem is they're putting people on the aircraft that aren't being screened properly. And so you're bringing that mindset mentality into our country, right? And that number is going to be, if they're telling us 30,000, triple it. It's going to be more than that, if not quadruple. Okay. Okay. So that's where we are right now. Let's get over here to Biggs Army Airfield, which is out in El Paso, Texas. And this is where I thought maybe we'd have a TFR over it. I just want to show you what's going on here. Now, if you look at the arrivals, this right here, they're coming in from Washington. So I've been tracking the flights coming out of Afghanistan. They're all flying into Virginia, it looks like, up into D.C., and then they're putting them on commercial airlines, including Swift Air, the ones that are already doing our work. That's what we're looking at right now on the board, as well as Southwest Airlines. So if you guys want to boycott something, go boycott Southwest Airlines because they are bringing them into your state. So I'm getting ready to show you this stuff. It's insane. But this one coming out of Washington, this is a Swift Air flight arriving at Biggs Air Force Base. So we're seeing that. I've seen a couple C-17s roll in as well that came out of D.C., but it looks like they've switched over to the commercial flights, bringing them onto military installation, okay? These are the departures. So you can see this one rolled out, went to El Paso. It's probably picking up bananas and headed to another location. So they've got a full-on logistics operation cranking right now in the U.S. That's not just bringing bananas in. They're bringing poppies in too. So now check this out. This is en route and scheduled that's coming. At this board, I looked at it about, oh mercy, an hour and a half ago, and it was full of Southwest Airline flights all the way down. Okay, it's now down to 3, but it's notice that they're not up here on arrivals, but they're scheduled. Okay, that means they're clearing the board. They're hiding it. Okay, now there were probably 9 flights on this earlier, but these are all Southwest Airlines coming from Washington Dulles, bringing poppies into Biggs Army Airfield. Okay, scheduled departures, you can see them rolling. They're coming out of there, going to Chicago, Dallas, Baltimore, right, going to get more. Dallas Love Field, that's home operations base for that one, probably dead heading back. And then again, another flight headed back to Baltimore for more people. Okay, that is headed to, that's an army base in El Paso. Okay, so just simply amazing. We're literally being invaded, folks. All right, this is going to be switching over to some of your Swift Air, just showing you that Swift Air, it's not just Southwest Airlines at Swift Air that's also bringing them in. So this is one coming out of Washington Dulles, headed into BIF, which is going to be Biggs Airfield, Fort Bliss. All right, DC landed 20 hours ago, and that was on Sunday. That was yesterday. So they've been doing this now, and they will continue to do this for a couple of days now. Need to really be thinking about this. From this Mendoza diagonal, we've got, Brownsville, McAllen, Del Rio, all the way up here to, we've got Abilene now in play. We've got El Paso. The entire border of Texas right now is being inundated on both sides. So the border is pretty much collapsed. Think about that. You've got people coming in from Central and South America and Mexico coming into all those locations. And now on top of that, they're bringing them in from Afghanistan. Okay. By the thousands every single day right along this border. Okay. All right. Now let's get over here. I do want to show you some of the Reach aircraft. This one came out of Kandahar, Afghanistan. So they're not just bringing them out of Kabul. They're bringing them in from other locations, but you can see this is a live one came in. So looks like they're taking that one, went into Qatar. Okay. And this is Reach 815. And that one actually came out of Kandahar again into Kandahar. So I just showed a thing around robin, and it's just not giving us all the data. But you can see, interesting here that it was near Iran, but that's the border. That's where it was picked up, coming out of probably Saudi. Okay. And then it was near Pakistan. And then it's just crazy. Absolutely crazy, folks. All right, now here's another one, another Reach bird. This is actually Mambo 61, landed 1 hour, 41 minutes ago, and it was first seen, so that's coming back. It landed in UAE, coming out of Kandahar. So it looks like they have moved some of the operations, or at least from picking people up, instead of Kabul, where we're like a sitting duck, they're now moving up here into Kandahar as another location. So here's Kabul up here, okay. All right, Moose 54. Now, these are regulars every single day. They're just round robin back and forth between Afghanistan. So it looks like they're now, like I said, it looks like the mission has changed over from a pickup. They probably realize they've got a boatload of people over here as well. Okay, so, oh boy, this is crazy. All right, now this is the Laughlin Air Force Base, and I'm watching this side too. Now, today, it doesn't look like we had anything on the board coming out, inbound from anywhere really, in terms of, the Swift Air or anything else. So that one's looking to be okay today, which is kind of strange. Tomorrow will probably be the uptick. I want to say Tuesdays are the day we see more aircraft coming in, and those are usually bananas. Okay. Now, this is actually, I'm not just about Texas, it's about Wisconsin as well. And so this was for the 23rd. This was published on August 19th, but it's talking about who's coming in from Afghanistan. You can see them rolling through. But they're saying the reports as many as 5,000 per day headed to the United States. All right. And so, yeah, Biggs is the one location, and then the other. So, and this one is actually just a reiteration of that. Afghan evacuees arrive in the U.S. through Virginia. That's where I've been tracking them, coming in through Virginia, and then they're headed to these two locations. So one of them, the main, you got Fort Lee is where they're landing in Virginia. They're actually saying they're housing them there as well, but they're also pushing them in out of Richland, headed here to Fort McCoy, and then to Fort Bliss in Texas. Now, I looked at Fort McCoy earlier today, and I could not see anything that was indicating that they were headed there yet, although they probably are. I just didn't see anything on the docket today for the board. I will tell you that they were in abundance, as you just saw. They're coming into Fort Bliss, Texas, big time. Okay, now the Atlas Air Flights is another one. These guys are in on the game, so this means we are moving lots and lots of people, because they will outfit these cargo jets with seating configuration. They move troops on them quite often, and so now you've got them. This one's coming out of Ramstein, and it originated in Kabul and or Afghanistan. Let me get over here and I'll show you the flight itself so you guys can see. But it's currently en route. It's coming out of Kazakhstan, and earlier, let's see, yeah, that's where it flew into. So it came out of Spain, and then now it's already this is for tomorrow's flight coming back. So it's going to be a departure over there again. So yeah, they're already in on the mix as well. So you've got Atlas Air that's now bringing them in, C-17s. And I would imagine we get to August 31st and that whole area is going to go hot. They'll start knocking stuff out of the sky, and it's going to be ugly. All right. I'll bet money on that 100%, because they want us out of their country, and not a good situation. So, all right, let's get over from the poppies. Let's shift gears over to the bananas, and we're going to go south of the border. I'll show you what's been going on with that stuff as well. Again, as we get over here to the board, you're going to see you've got Brownsville. That's border town. It looks like it's headed into Alexandria, which is the 72-hour processing center. And then, let's see, this one here is Massachusetts to Ohio. This is origination, Laughlin, Bullhead, Arizona. That's where that is where iAero or Swift Air is out of. Okay, and then this one is McAllen. That's a border headed over back to base. Looks like home base. And then that one's headed from Laughlin down to Miami. That one will probably engage into the stuff going in and out of the Dominican Republic and Haiti, which they're coming from there too, folks. So like I said, we're being invaded, and if we don't get it together very quickly, it's not going to be pretty. Okay. And so now this one is in 531 AU. It's rolling from the border town, McAllen, Texas, right? Landed 34 minutes ago, back down to Mexico. So they're headed down to pick up some more people. Okay. Let's go look at what this one has been doing just recently. So Brownsville over to McAllen. So it's just been shifting. This one's been moving bananas back and forth. So that's how what they do is they do their separation, the men, women, children, and then basically, move them across the border and stage them for the next leg. And whether it's buses or other aircraft they get on, men are going one location, women and children to others. And if they don't have a family, the kids go into foster care. Okay, so you guys know. But you can see this thing has just been doing that border thing almost all the way through. All right. Okay, in 964 CE, now this is one that's kind of dual purpose. It is slated as a cargo bird, Arctic 1 LLC, but it looks to be, it's coming out of Mexico, headed up to Laredo. And let's see when that thing was on Sunday, landed a day ago. But you can see it's flying down here to different areas of Mexico, into Nicaragua, another one, Nicaragua, Laredo. It's been taking people to the border, okay? So they're getting rides. And, of course, the ICE vehicles, U.S. Border and Customs Patrol buses that I showed you pictures of earlier are picking them up and taking them in. And so, all right, so N629 SW. Now, I know that shows as a Southwest bird. It used to be, and it's the old picture of it. That is not a Southwest bird, although they are fully engaged in this now. But this one's rolling out of the 72-hour processing center, headed to San Antonio. That was a day ago. And prior to that, it went from San Antonio up there, and then looks like it round robin came right back. That was all on Sunday. Okay. All right. N397 SW, it's currently en route, landing in 53 minutes, coming out of Bullhead City, Arizona, headed to Grand Island, New England. Okay. Prior to that, let me see if had anything. So this is all, man, this thing has been busy today. Started out in Phoenix, went to Denver over to Phoenix again, Phoenix over to the head base, Bullhead City, and then looks like it's headed up to New England, and then it'll come back to home base. All right, now this is going to be this is the Mexican Airlines that are actually engaged in this also. You're going to notice as we kind of get through these, Laredo to, that's headed to Kentucky, Laredo headed to Greensville, Spartanburg, Laredo headed to, where that is, Guantanamo. I probably just butchered that. But that one's actually headed back south, Shreveport over to another international down south, Cancun over to Miami. And this one looks to be the Yucatan headed to Miami, Laredo into Ohio, and then Guadalupe with an unknown destination. So, yeah, you can see these guys are just running back and forth in and out. Now, this is definitely they've been recruited by our country. Like our government is paying for seats for these guys. So, okay. Unbelievable. All right, so here, this is actually going to be Border Patrol, just kind of looking to see what they're engaged in. For those not familiar with this, is N956TX, and you can see this is Department of Public Safety, but it's got all of the Stingray, and you see all the antennas on this bad dude, and the camera right here. So it's set up for surveillance, but it's got Stingray and Dirtbox on it. And again, here it is, Del Rio. You can see they're just basically doing some gathering data right there in that general area, coming out of Del Rio. This is Laughlin right here. That's a military base, and it looks like they came down. They're running right down the border, and then right here. So they were doing some more circling, grabbing data. Okay, it's cell data. So it's interesting. Really makes you curious as to what they are looking for, because the border's wide open, right? They're not even remotely stopping anybody. All they're doing is processing them. Remember, it takes 6 years for them for an asylum request to get into the system now, for them to go before a judge and request asylum. So they're basically just been given, you know, come back in 6 years, here's your paperwork. You know, they're never going to show up. And so, and now the other ones that are coming in, the poppies, as well as most of these, are been given this it's special visa, whatever they come in, SIVs or something like that. And so, and so they bypass all of that. They're basically immediately rolled into, you know, our system. So, all right. It does make you wonder, given that our military installations are fully equipped to bring all these folks in, like they were already set up. I mean, you don't just set up for 20,000 people, 30,000 people, barracks. Kind of makes you wonder if they're not bringing them in and training them. You know, I don't know. Telling you folks, something doesn't smell right here. It stinks to high heaven, and I honestly feel like we are being invaded, and we got to make some quick moves here pretty quickly, or it's game over. All right, so this is Guantanamo Bay, very quiet, not a lot going on. You see this one's coming in tomorrow morning out of Lauderdale, which is usually about our Tuesday morning, 6 a.m. That looks to be a normal flight now, in and out. I will tell you that we do have an appeals or something going on the court docket for this week. It was either tomorrow or Wednesday for one of the 9/11 guys. You know, he'll probably be released and sent to Biggs in Texas. You know, go join all of his buddies here shortly. So, yeah. All right, so hey, listen, if you have some fire in your belly and you're fed up with this, and you can see that Texas seems to be just open kimono, letting everybody in, this is a petition that we have started. This is myself and one other person. I promise you, we're not taking any of your information. You're not being put on a list, you know, for me to send you further stuff. This is just straight up. We are fed up here in Texas, and what we're trying to do is fire a shot over the bow for Greg Abbott, Ted Cruz, John Cornyn, because they're all in on this. These are your normal, you know, I know they are Republicans, and I don't care whether you're wearing red, blue, or independent, whatever it may be. Texas, you know, we are basically, because of us, we're violating everybody else in the United States. And so, because they're coming through our porous border and they are just going throughout the country, please come over and sign this. The shot is basically, we're just going to submit it to them and let them know that we are fed up, we're paying attention, and if they don't make a fix, we're going to request that they get recalled and pulled from office, because they're not listening to the folks that voted them in, and we are fed up with it, okay? So if you would, LoneStarPeople.org, just go over there. We're not asking for anything other than an email. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that list of emails address. I think we're sitting pretty close to 10,000 right now. And we're just going to basically, when we, you know, in the next day or two, we're going to send this to them and say, you know what, we're done. So if you would get in there and sign this, I'll put a link down here in the description of the video. But just put your email in there, and this will be your voice, at least, you know, because if we don't start talking here soon, folks, we are done. Okay. All right. So let's get back over to the U.S. We got a couple minutes here before we bug out. Just going to show a couple things. We'll go down, see if I can get into Australia as well. But this is what's going on United States wise. Mostly what we're seeing is a lot of heavies coming into the D.C. area. And you can see all these reaches just coming in and being engaged here. There's C-101. That's going to be your Director of Homeland Security or Assistant Director. I'm not sure. I think 101 is the Director and 202 is the Assistant. But we do have the Sentry still down here doing its thing on the border area. Of course, we got a Space Operations TFR out over here. Now, we do have an R-135 that was engaged earlier. Now, this one was up here north of Lincoln. That's Lincoln, Nebraska. But it was up here over the Dakotas. Remember, that's a spy plane. And, you know, he's running routes up here. That is gathering intel on something up in here, okay? So, yep, it's our government at work, folks. All right, back over to our main map. A couple, those are both sentries headed. Looks like they are, let me see where they're headed into. They took off out of Oklahoma City, headed southeast. Looks like down towards Baton Rouge, kind of that general direction. So let me pull back and look as we get over. I just want to see if we got anything going on in Australia. Now, I've heard it is actually getting like Wild West crazy down in Australia. So if you guys are listening or watching this, man, we're praying for you. I know I was watching people coming out of their houses and getting things are getting pretty crazy because of the lockdowns, and it looks pretty quiet over there right now. So, but that one's on ground. And see what that is. It looks like a C-17 taking off. Now, I will tell you that Australia is also fully engaged over here in over here. Okay, they are big time engaged in that. So I've been watching them today as well. So most countries are engaged over here. So that's kind of where I wrap up. All right. Okay. So again, just if you're fed up, please sign that petition. Otherwise, stay frosty. Things are definitely going to be changing rapidly, and I think we are on the brink of something major going on, because you can't have this kind of influx into our country with nonstop. This border is wide open, and there's definitely something up here, folks. This doesn't smell right, and I don't know. Hopefully, we'll figure it out before it's too late. So, you guys, listen. Be safe out there. Stay frosty. God bless. Monkey out. Check out the latest gear and products at monkeywerxus.com.